Hello, it's so great to be with you for today's Cuppa with Katie. I'm Katie Phillips. I founded the School of Self-Love. I wrote the book, The Self-Love Affair, A Woman's Guide to a Daring and Mighty Life. And I know a lot of my community are right in the middle of reading this right now. And on the back of hosting my 5-day Meet Your Soulmate Challenge last week, which was a fantastic success. We had so much fun. I know a lot of women in that group, the women that participated in that challenge, are reading the book as well. Let me turn my phone off. And something that has been coming up with some of my clients and something that's coming up in my community, and I've seen it coming up with some clients in my Evolution membership, is this piece around forgiveness. And it's kind of perfectly timed, of course, because we have a new full moon happening tomorrow. So tomorrow, as I record this, it's the 23rd of June. Tomorrow, 24th of June at 7:39 p.m., we will be able to see the moon in full bloom. And it is a sign that it is time for us to let go of what is no longer serving us, so that we can clear out that energetic space to be able to receive in all that we're meant for. So it's about clearing out so that we can receive in. So I thought that I would lean on a couple of other experts. And by the way, as you're joining, and I can see a few of you here, please say hello, say howdy. For me to know your name as you comment, I think you need to give StreamYard, which is the technology I'm using to go live today, permission to show your name. Otherwise, you come up as Facebook user. There's Sonia. Hello, darling. Good day to you too, honey. So I just thought today would be a really, hi, Rafael. I thought today would be a really perfect opportunity to, I can actually show these as well. There we go. It would be a perfect opportunity to give you a little, quick reminder. Hey, Lindy, darling. A quick reminder of, a ritual and a practice that we can participate in when we have a full moon. And actually, it's really nice because the full moon is tomorrow night to get prepared today to make the most of it is kind of perfect timing. And we can also begin our practices today. So it's really wonderful to begin the process I'm going to share with you now. Begin it today, knowing that the practice can peak on the full moon tomorrow night, okay? So I'm going to lean on an expert when it comes to the moon. You may have heard of Yasmin Boland. She wrote a book called Moonology. Have you seen this? Great book. If you want to learn more about the moon, it's kind of all here. Fellow Aussie, I believe, as well. I'm going to just read a page and a half from her book, because she says it perfectly. I can't add to it. She's the expert. I'm not the expert when it comes to the moon, but I do use full moon, new moon for my rituals, to connect with my spiritual self, to kind of add some potency to my transformational process. So yeah, Sonia, do you know about Moonology? It's great. So I've got some new glasses. So I can actually read now. It's very exciting. All right, let me read this to you. So the full moon is generally considered to mark the end of a lunar cycle. Of course, the lunar cycle never actually ends, at least it hasn't to date. Rather, the moon is forever waxing and waning. The full moon is also seen as the climax of the monthly lunar cycle. The energies build and build and build to the full moon, and then bang. There's some full moon madness followed by a sort of cosmic lunar sigh. At the time of the full moon, we're being asked or forced to deal with our stuff, which, as I mentioned earlier, is why some people seem to go a little loony at the time of the full moon. So who else is here? Hey, Emma, good to have you. Sonia's saying no, but just learned about shamanic astrology. Ooh, how very interesting. And Ruth, loving the specs. Yeah, well, they're not my final specs. They're my interim specs, but they do allow me to see, which is wonderful. The full moon then is all about peaking and releasing the old, letting go of lower energies that come from upsets or any negative events, as well as negative patterns you may have fallen into. It's about releasing toxic thoughts, habits, ways of being, and indeed toxic people. It's culmination time. It's letting go and clean slate time. It's when we should release the things we don't want: guilt, fear, disappointment, jealousy, anything that's counterproductive. The full moon is also a powerful time for inner work, for looking within, healing, shifting blocks, and shedding the past. When the moon is full, it's at its brightest, and it can shine a light on our darkness, on the deepest parts of ourselves that we usually can't see. The full moon also creates something of a tug of war in us. We have the sun in one half of our horoscope chart and the moon on the exact other side. We see where things are out of balance and bring them back into harmony. Working too hard, the full moon reminds us to pay some attention in our working life. Spending too much, events at the time of the full moon can remind us to rein things in. Giving too much, the full moon is the time to remember to take as well, and so on. I would personally reword that. I wouldn't say take as well. I'd say receive. It's more empowered feminine. That's just me. Okay. Emma's here. Great time to burn a letter in its light. Yes, it is. And we're going to get to that right now. So if you want to learn more about the moon, this is a great book, Moonology. Highly recommend. And then I'm going to go to another book that I highly recommend. My book. Because in this book, I'm looking at page 98 right now. So if you have the book, you can follow along with me. But I'm in the chapter called Lighten the Load, which begins on page 94. And this chapter is perfect for full moon because it includes information on what forgiveness is, how to forgive. There's a meditation that you can do as part of this practice. And in fact, what I will remember to do is I'll just say the link now, and then I'll pop the link in the comments if I remember. But if you go to theschoolofself.love/meditation-library. Yeah, so theschoolofself.love/meditation-library, you will be able to download several meditations there, including a forgiveness meditation, which is perfect for now. So when it comes to forgiveness, and I'm not going to do a huge teaching on forgiveness now, maybe I'll do another time, or I'll share the link to other lives I've done where I teach around forgiveness. But here's the thing we kind of have to remember. We do have to be ready to forgive. Hold on, let me just change that. We do have to be ready to forgive, but we need to really get conscious to, am I ready or am I procrastinating? Because often we don't really want to go there, because often the idea of forgiving, there's something within us, and this has been my experience multiple times, there's something within us that's like, I don't want to forgive, because if I forgive, I don't get to be right. If I forgive, it somehow communicates they got away with it, or it makes it okay. And it doesn't. I think it's really important to remember that forgiveness allows you to lighten the load for yourself and move on free and easy. You're not like weighed down. You've not got this sort of backpack of resentment and anger and pain that you're carrying around with you. You can just let it go, because actually it's like that Buddha quote, which I never get right. I'm going to try. But the Buddha quote goes something like, it's like when we don't forgive, it's like holding on to a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at somebody else because we're angry with them. But instead it's us who gets burned because we're holding the hot coal. And often when we're not forgiving, usually the person that's hurt us, the people we're resentful towards, they have no idea. It's only you that's kind of burning up on the inside with the anger and the resentment. And we got to let that go. And the full moon is inviting us to do that big time. And we don't have to do it all at once, and it will be a process. So here's what I've come to know very powerfully is that when it comes to forgiveness, it's not a function of our brain or our intellect. We don't need to know how to forgive. That kind of defeats the purpose, because forgiveness is so experiential, and it is the capacity of your heart and your soul to do the forgiving for you. So it's a very feminine practice. That's what I love so much about forgiveness. It's not a masculine practice of doing it, getting it done, following the steps, tick, tick, tick. It's very experiential. There's a flow to it. It's a receiving state. So we're actually not doing forgiveness, we're receiving forgiveness. We're not doing something, we're receiving an experience. And that experience is guided by our heart and it's guided by our soul. And that's what makes it so miraculous, because our brain is like, I cannot forgive that person. If you're the subject that needs forgiveness, like, I cannot forgive myself for doing that. I can't believe I did that. I shouldn't be allowed to get off the hook for that. Who do I think I am to get off the hook? Who do they think they are to think they can get off my hook? You know, we hold on to it and our brain just cannot fathom. It can't fathom forgiveness, but our heart knows it. It's like, that's just, it's our heart is, our pure state is in a place of equilibrium, letting go, peace. Our heart knows forgiveness. Our heart knows how to create it. And so does our spirit. So we're leaning into that part of us, and we're not doing the forgiveness. We're asking our heart, we're asking our soul to show us, to kind of show us the how without having to do anything, if that makes sense. We're kind of handing it over through setting intention. Yeah. So the only real work for you to do is to set the intention. Within setting the intention is a little more work, right? There's a little bit of digging. It's like, you've got to get conscious to, what is it in my life that is an energy drain? What is holding me back? Who am I having the ruminating conversations with? What's keeping me awake at night? What's going round and round in my head? What do I know that I need to let go? So we need to do that work for ourselves. And that's probably some journaling. It might be a conversation with your therapist or your coach. Notice the repetitive conversations you're having with friends, the bitching that you're doing, the whinging and complaining, like all that stuff. Like, do you really want that to be taking up your energy? Or are you ready to draw a line under it and let it go? Are you ready to move back into a state of equilibrium and peace? So the work is to identify what you are ready to let go of. And even if you think you're not ready, what are you willing to set the intention to be shown how to let go, and let your heart and soul take over? Because whenever I've forgiven, genuinely, I didn't think it was possible. And then I will have an experience that blows my mind. Like, it literally blows my mind. Can you suggest a tapping phrase around this forgiveness, Katie? Yes, I probably can. Give me a minute. I'll come back to that. Well, okay. For example, right there, is it? Well, it might be something like, even though I can't forgive, I completely love and accept myself. You know, even though I don't know where to begin with forgiveness, I completely love and accept myself. Even though I have this need to be right, I completely love and accept myself. Even though, right? So just sort of maybe notice where your blocks are and then tap through those blocks. Yeah. Maybe if that's what you mean, Lindsay, maybe that can help. So where was I? Right. So you're going to identify what you're willing to forgive and let go. And a really beautiful practice at full moon is to write a letter to your spirit. So write a letter to your spirit asking, and this is all detailed in the book, asking for help to forgive someone else or yourself. And you could write about the events, the experiences, the feelings. Write it in the letter and ask for help to forgive. And then follow that up with a meditation if it feels good for you. And as I said, oh, hi, Kate. Good to have you, darling. Hello. If it feels good for you, you might like to do the forgiveness meditation, which is free on my website. I just gave you the link, schoolofself.love/meditation. What was it? -library. I'll put the link in the comments. In fact, let me just write a note. Link. Otherwise I forget. And you might enjoy, and this is something I love to use. So I use doTERRA essential oils, and I use this one called Forgive. Can you see how it says Forgive on there? It's lovely. So I pop a bit of doTERRA Forgive into my my diffuser. I'll write my letter of forgiveness. I write the letter directed to my heart, to my spirit, asking to be shown the way, because I don't know. I can't conceive of it. I essentially open my heart. I choose to not close my heart. I choose to be in open state and to receive the forgiveness. I put whatever I know needs to go into the letter, and I trust that my heart and my soul are going to show me the way. I will always then burn a letter. That's something I like to do. Someone in my evolution community said the other day when she was going through something, and I suggested that she burn something. I won't go into all the details. And she said, yeah, but I don't feel angry, so I don't feel the need to burn it. Burning isn't about displaying or releasing anger per se. It's more about changing up the energy of something. So it's almost like when I burn, it could be an angry letter. In this case, it's a forgiveness letter. As I burn it and I watch it burn, and I see the pages all fold over and look something like a peony, by the way. They sort of all crumple over and look flower-like, and it turns white and then crumbles and disappears. It's like, it's the phoenix rising experience, and the energy is transformed. And I'm handing it over and I'm releasing it. So I've written what I'm ready to forgive. And through burning, I'm just releasing and handing over. And to me, that feels really good. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Oh, hello, there's more comments. Hey, Sonia. Oh, Lindy, the tapping, the third one was spot on. Great. Okay, I'm glad that helps. And we've got our coaching call and membership in Evolution membership tonight, so we can talk some more about that. Hi, Helen. Great to see you. Hello, Kate. I'm so glad that's useful. Awesome. Great. Good to have you guys. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I will start the process probably tomorrow morning. I'll start my writing. There's a couple of my crystals here, but I've got loads. I will be putting them all out under the full moon tomorrow night as well. I'll be using my doTERRA forgiveness oil. I'll also be ramping it up with writing some gratitudes. That's actually a really nice way to follow on from the forgiveness process. So once you've written your letter and burned it, it's really nice to then get out your journal and just tap into what you're grateful for in your life, because that's what we're calling in, is more of that, right? We want our focus to be, and our energy to be, on what makes us feel good and what we're so grateful to already have, and we're choosing to let go what's draining our energy. And this is the time of the month that's perfect for all of that. So I hope I have shared some tomorrow evening. Yes, the full moon is tomorrow. Did I say today? I don't know what I said. Tomorrow evening is the full moon. Is that what you're referring to, Helen? Or are you referring to our group coaching call, which is definitely tonight? Anywho, loving you all so much. Thank you for being here. Hope those tips are a good reminder. And yeah, here's to you really letting go of what is no longer serving you. Now's the time. You don't need to be held back by that stuff. Yeah. Helen's saying my earlier message. Ah, okay. Yes, I hear you. Okay, I can't keep up with the messages, Helen. All right, love you all loads. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you next week. Enjoy the beautiful full moon.